YouTube, Triumph Guy here today, and I'm going to be painting my vintage Caravan, which is a 1970 Alpine Sprite. A couple of points to note: first thing you're going to have to do is clean it, and then you're going to have to use wet and dry sandpaper to sand it back. Also, it's really important on your paint selection, make sure you use Caravan paint, as it's a bit better when it comes to flexibility and it should be self-leveling. So let's get to it. So first thing you're going to do is spray all the decals with decal remover and remove them, and then give it a nice good soapy wash, ensuring that you get rid of any grime and dirt and anything which you don't want sanded into the paint, okay, because this is going to sort of act as a base layer. Also, I use degreaser to get rid of any oil. So I got a sponge with plain water in it with nothing on it, and then I just did a bit of wet and dry sanding around just to buff it up. You don't want to take too much off, but you just want it to be a little bit buffed up so that you can apply the paint on. Once you've done this, you're going to need to clean away all the residue which is left, and also you need to wear a mask when you're doing it because these old Caravans might have used lead paint. %5 of the work is prep work, so you're just going to go around and mask off any areas where you don't want paint. I'm doing a two-tone effect on this with green and white paint, so I will have to mask twice, and I used green frog tape to do this, and I honestly can't recommend this product enough. It is really, really good. This is the paint I use. It's called Trade Paints, and they do loads of different types of paints, but I used Caravan Pacific paint, and it is recommended to thin it with their thinner. All in all, I think it was like 170 quid for everything. It's quite expensive, but it is definitely worth it. I purposely didn't do a voiceover whilst doing this part of the product because I wanted to make sure it was right before I actually review it, but yeah, it's really, really good product. And then it's recommended that you thin it down 10 to 20%. I would say go for 10% rather than 20%. And also you'll see the rollers initially made a bit of a mess. I've swapped them straight out for the Screwfix high density foam rollers, and these were perfect. They held the paint in, whereas the other ones from Amazon it just dripped out straight away, and you can see that on the right hand side, but it's all right because I'm painting over that bit anyway. Four layers in total. I did one and then quickly went round and then done another one, waited for it to completely dry after 24 hours, and then done the other two more. And all you're doing is just lightly applying it. You will work out your own technique, but don't worry if you don't get full coverage on the first layer. As you can see, it's a bit patchy here on the first layer. To mask the white off, make sure it's completely dry before you mask this off, okay, because obviously you're just going to rip the paint straight off. It's time to go on with the green. Just go nice and gentle, give it a nice couple of first coats, and then you can go a bit more aggressive with the paint on the last two. Note, if you do get any drips, what you can do is you can go back and sand them between coats with really fine grit wet and dry sandpaper. It's high density foam brushes to go around the outsides and any hard bits, and then I went over the roller. I figured out this technique a little bit later on, but it did help because basically I used that to sort of almost cut in. Here's what the Caravan then looked like after 2 layers. As you can see, it's a bit patchy, but that's what you want. That's how you want it to look. Due to the weather, I had to leave it for a few days, and as you can see, the frog tape started to give after a really heavy downpour, so I went over the frog tape, and then I did the last 2 layers. can see now in a bit more detail me cutting in with that little foam brush. Before the paint has fully dried, but it has had time to dry a little bit, you want to take off the tape, okay? And this just stops it from cracking off. And here's the end results. And if you look in the comments, you'll see the full restoration for this Caravan. And stick around, we will be doing some adventures. We are going to Holland soon, well, next weekend. Please make sure you like and subscribe. And if you've got any queries, leave them in the comments. See you on the next one.